messing around.
Yeah.
All right, we ready?
We're ready.
Welcome back, everybody. 3 Uncool Cats again.
You call that a
Alan. Hey, you gotta do it. Alan's with us.
Start again.
Bob's still
Start
with us.
again.
You want me to start? You
It
fucker.
showed up.
Hey, look at that. That's the best one yet.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can tell. Look at the superiority
See, look at that.
of
It's
that
even
clap
better than the
versus
lap.
that
Yep,
clap.
see?
Give it a lame
That's a
clap.
high peak right there.
Basically, he called you a limp.
I guess.
I just
I'm a
can't.
limp clap.
I can't start on a clap like that.
But
But
all right.
I've noticed this. If
We need
it's-
one of those
Yes,
things.
we need. Yes, we need to order. I'll see if I can find this one.
That's what I'll make out of that guitar.
All right, we'll do it.
Just cut it in half.
So, but if you get too close, I've noticed that there have been times that I've done something when I'm recording, and it like spikes the mic, and it goes for like 2 minutes. And it
Oh,
goes okay.
yeah.
So,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay, I'll leave you alone.
All right.
Hang on, I better look at it because Bob's got it screwed up now. Okay.
All right, ready? Welcome back to another episode. 3 Uncool Cats. Alan, Bob, your humble host, Andrew. Today we got a California band, another 70s band. In my opinion, better than Steely Dan. We're talking about the Doobie Brothers today, and we're actually doing best of the Doobies. And Bob, when he brought this to us, said this is a true best of, and I'd have to agree because I surprisingly knew, I think, all of them except maybe 2 songs.
There was
I
2
think,
that
on
I
this.
didn't know about.
But with that, I'll let Bob kind of get us into this and why he brought this to the table.
Well, back in the day,
Back in my day,
musicians played multiple. They played 2 guitars at the same time underwater. Okay.
That's right, and they were always high. And which brings me to how they got their name, which everybody probably has assumed this or already knows this, but they were in school together, a couple of them, 3 of them, I think, and they would get high a lot, and somebody just said, "Well, you ought to call yourself the Doobie Brothers." And they said, "Well, that's stupid," and but they said,
that's
"Well,
stupid, but we're going to use it anyway.
because we don't have any other name." So that's what they did. But anyway, they were a party band back in those days. It was right at the end. I remember the end of at least the getting toward the end of the Vietnam War.
Yeah. Because I noticed a lot of these songs were in 72, 73,
Yes.
and Vietnam officially was over in 75.
Yeah, and I was my lottery number for the draft was 210. My best friend's number was 7, so he was going to war.
Wow.
But that's when they stopped the draft. So, and I remember at that time the Doobie Brothers, were a big relief for everybody.
Yeah.
The Beatles had broken up at that point.
Thank God.
I'm kind of with you there.
I'm not a Beatles fan.
I'm not either.
And
not
never
either.
have been.
I mean, there's bits and pieces of it that I can, that's okay, but it's not something that they were not my front seat kind of music. But the Doobie Brothers, they came on the scene, and I remember it being something that I could listen to a lot like Steely Dan, where I would leave it play and let it go, because the songs, to me, a lot of them are wholesome lyrics. Now they get into some of the other, and I was talking to my wife about how they were such party animals. I mean, they would party even when they were flying in their plane. After they got big enough, they called it the Doobie liner.
That's what I love about the 70s. Everybody had their own plane.
Yeah.
Zeppelin had their own
real,
planes.
man.
That was awesome.
And in their plane, they would get high and nobody cared,
Yep.
and they had a bar and they just partied all the time when they weren't playing. But when they were playing, as far as musically, this is my style. This is what I love, because
This is Bob's jam.
This is my jam. I can pick out all the parts I love the way the instruments interact. I love the vocals. The vocals were so stinking tight.
Yeah.
And big, actually, because they had more than 3-part harmony.
Yeah.
Because they had just about everybody singing
Yeah.
most of the time.
Everybody could sing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. You might as well use it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they would mix it up.
Well, and that's something else I've noticed, that back in the 70s you would see that you don't see nowadays. If you could sing in the band, you sang.
Yeah.
The Eagles,
Yep.
right? Doobie Brothers. And there were more bands that you would see coming along and you go, well, wait a minute, that guy's singing this song and that guy sang the last song. And they're both hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to. I was watching one video of these guys, and they, the drummer, and I can't remember which drummer, but he came out from behind the drums and grabbed a mic, and he was he was a front man at that point. It was really cool. But I
Dumb
love
drummers.
their.
Just kidding.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
What did the drummer get on his SATs? Drool.
Hey.
But that's lame.
Yeah, that's pretty lame. Yeah, that's good. You started out with a funny note like that, though. We all know drummers.
So all right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. When they
Just
show
kidding.
up.
Hey, I'm
I
trying.
mean, for real. Look, the joke is that drummers never show up.
Yep.
How many times did we try to play? Drummers just didn't show up. I can't make it.
Well, it's because they have to pack all that crap up in their car, and then they're just
Yeah.
like, I'm not going.
Not when we played. We had a set there at the church.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, there's no excuse then.
Yeah. I don't know. Those sticks, they get cumbersome
Yeah.
sometimes.
So with this band, I see where you're going with that. It was good band. They sang well. The music was, relaxing music. Even their aggressive stuff was fairly relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see in those troublesome times how, like you said, it would
Yeah.
be a release for you.
Mm-hmm.
It was on this album. Was there a particular song that may have resonated with you more in that moment?
If you listen to the intros on China Grove, Long
Yeah.
Train Running, those are extremely identifiable.
Yeah.
I mean, and there were a lot of them on this album that were that way.
Yeah.
Especially if you liked them, especially if you had listened to them any length of time.
Yeah.
It was immediately identifiable.
Well, the second guitar part I ever learned as a young guitar player was China Grove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's surprisingly so. It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not that it was hard, but it's trickier than what you think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, the Patrick Simmons, I think his last name is, with the long hair.
Yeah.
He was a really intricate guitar
That's
player.
sign language for guitar, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're watching us on YouTube, you
Tell
got
you
it.
can tell I'm a drummer.
Yeah. If you're listening to the podcast, Bob made some weird almost like jazz hands, but not quite.
I think he flicked us off, but I'm not quite sure.
I mean, how many middle fingers do you have, Bob?
No. I wouldn't do that. Not to you guys.
So the lyrics on this song, I grew up singing along with this song. This was one of my favorite songs as a young guy. When I say young, I wasn't quite a teenager, but I mean, even in the '80s when I was a teenager, these songs were still big. Okay, on the radio, and learning how to play those parts and everything. But I never really listened to the lyrics.
I didn't either. When we did this, I'm like, I'm going to listen, because what the hell does that mean? And then it's like, just this quirky little town with all this weird stuff
They're
going on.
jacked up. The preacher, the teacher mess around, but the preacher may be insane.
Yep.
We don't know.
And she's a game.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and back to the same thing. When I listen to these, I don't know that I ever knew the lyrics. And I'm a lyric kind of, I
Right.
try to pay attention to lyrics, but I didn't, like we said before, the sound of the voices intertwined, the harmonies
Yeah.
with the instruments, it all fits so well that it would just keep you jamming with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, I tell you, when you're talking about harmonies, some of the, and even, you know,
I immediately think of Blackwater.
Oh my, that's where I was
that
going.
was, I mean,
oh my gosh.
Holy, that's awesome.
He built a raft, and he's going to launch it into the Mississippi River.
Oh my.
And you're right there too. It puts you
Yeah.
right, like you're sitting right there watching the current
Yeah.
go by.
And the paddle boat goes by.
Yeah.
And
I can
the
remember
wheels
felt
being
like
in the
little
water.
Tom Sawyer out there.
Yes.
Exactly.
Even as a kid, I would listen to that and you sang along with it.
Yeah.
You know, and those harmonies
Yeah.
in that. Now, you know, we always like to talk about where we were, the musical time
Right.
machine, right? We love the musical time machine.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised, you know, because I was a Doobie Brothers fan, right? I was surprised at how much some of these songs were prevalent and important in my life at that time. I didn't know, you know, you're talking, this is, back then you didn't have as many distractions as you do now. So the number one distraction would have been music in the background all the time. So with the Doobie Brothers, I was surprised at how many songs made me go, oh my gosh, I'm not in 2024 anymore. I'm in 1976.
Yeah.
Right? And Blackwater was one of them.
Yeah.
Okay? So,
You know what's funny? You can get back
no,
to
go
that.
go right ahead.
But I remember when that song hit the radio. So I still think of it at this point in time. I still think of it as a newer song. Right? I'm just saying.
Well, look, this is one of those, you know, we've talked too about, we were a fan, you lose track and you come out and you go, oh wow, this is great. You know, you rediscover it, but you're not really, you know, once it's done playing, you're not going to look for it. I would go look for Blackwater. Now that it's back on my radar, I'm going to go look for that because it just puts you in a good place. But my musical time machine on this, right, is I'm 8 years old maybe, right, riding around in my dad's Chevy with him, and there was in our town, little town, there was this little ice cream shop called Zesto. Okay, now. We could never afford to eat at the Zesto, right? Because we were poor white trash. But we'd drive by it and it always smelled good, right? So
Did you grow up a poor black man?
that's
a jerk reference.
Yeah, that's
by
a jerk.
the way. Yes.
We love that movie. That
I
movie
love
is
that
so
movie,
good. Yeah.
My mother loved that movie.
Right. What I love is that, you know, too, when he leaves home and they're sitting there and they're eating and I wonder how he's doing. They look out, he's still standing.
Oh, he got a ride.
Such a good movie, but no, we were poor white trash. Let me tell you. So this is the one time that we actually got to stop at the Zesto. Right?
Wow.
So it was me. I'm 8, right? Whatever. My brother's 6, 7. My sister's 5, right? She had this thing where she'd stick stuff up her nose. So we stopped at the Zesto.
I thought that was a guy thing.
She's going to be watching this, you know.
So right, I know. I asked her last night. I literally texted her. I know she, because it took her forever to get back to her. I said, "What was that you stuck up your nose at the Zesto?"
Did she remember? Is it still up there?
Oh my goodness! It took her forever. She goes. It was a bead. Why?
A bead. Oh Lord.
Well, they used to sell these, you know,
Oh, yeah.
the candy
Yeah.
necklace, right? You can see it.
Yeah.
What kind of freak would come up with that? Because it's 700 degrees outside in the South. You've got a, you know, it's like walking out into a wet blanket because humidity's 2004, right? And then they give
You
you
see
a
everybody with rainbows around their
you
neck.
get a necklace that you can eat. So now you just let it drop and get it's all gooey on your neck, right? So she had one of those. So somehow she takes one of those off. She sticks it up her nose, right? So my mom's freaking out, right? My mom had she was just a woman that she would just freak out, right? So she's freaking out. She's like, my baby's got something up her nose. I'm sitting there with my ice cream going, crap. The one time we get down to Zesto, and I can't, and we're having to put up with this crap. I can't even enjoy it. So anyway, but the instrumental break before they go a cappella, I'd forgotten how good that was. Oh my gosh. I was sitting out there last night. I'm sitting in a chair in the driveway, and I live in an apartment complex with townhomes. I'm sitting out there, my eyes closed, and I'm rocking out. I look over, and there's this dude, roughly our age. He's like, "Yeah, you listen to something good."
It wasn't that Chihuahua, was it?
No. Guess what?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Nope.
Dead?
No.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. You know, they moved out.
Oh, wow.
Tiki the Chihuahua is gone.
Oh.
Now here's the thing.
What are you going to kick
new-
now?
I guess the old lady that moved in next door. No, there's the old lady. It's a nice couple that moved in
She's
next
got
door.
a great name.
He's kicking Alan.
Look, I really like the couple that moved in next door to us. I really like them. But here's the thing, though. I find myself surprisingly
You missed the little guy?
because even though he wouldn't shut up, when he would come, when they would let him out, he'd always come and he'd just challenge me, right, and just eyeball me for a while. I kind of miss that.
So now looking forward in the time machine,
Yeah.
what music are you going to think of when you look back on Kiki?
Yeah, Stone Temple Pilots. That's when that came up. Wasn't it? We were thinking about Stone. I wanted to kick that Tiki right in the face.
There you
when it was
go.
Stone Temple Pilots.
So you've got a connection there.
But yes, but the instrumental,
Yeah, back to
because
get
I
serious
yeah, we're
now.
talking about music.
Yeah,
right?
music. Let's get into music. But as good as that a cappella piece is, and that's what I always remember when I think of this song, it's that.
Yeah.
But that instrumental before it, I've forgotten how good it is.
Yep.
There are a lot of good lead breaks in all
Oh, yeah.
these songs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they always do a bridge that is totally different
Yeah.
than the rest of the song.
But that's refreshing.
Yep.
it is to me.
Yeah.
And it's, especially when they do a long instrumental break.
Yeah.
Because they were awesome musicians.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I
it
thought-
never got tedious. That's the thing, because a lot of bands, throughout history, when they do these super long instrumental breaks, you're just like, oh my gosh,
You're
Yeah.
done with it. Yeah.
kind of like King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard.
It's nothing like that.
But
I kind of like theirs.
one of my, and I'd forgotten this too.
I think King Gizzard's going to be your Tiki. Eventually, you're going to be like, I think I really like these guys.
I miss King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard and that 17-hour song that they had.
You just have to listen to it again and see what it does to you.
They
You'll be
gave me a
surprised.
free album so I could burn it. so anyway, I didn't realize. I mean, I knew the song, but I didn't realize that sometimes when it rains, I'll say, when it rains, I don't care. It makes no difference to me. And I'd forgotten that it was the lyric.
Get on the street.
You
car
thought
and
you
go
came
uptown.
up with that?
No, I didn't think. No, I know I'm not
You're like,
clever
man,
enough.
I am a genius.
Yeah, I am so good. That ought to be in a song.
Too late.
That'd be a great lyric.
No, but I knew that I'd never come up with it, but I just, life gets to going and you just start saying something, you just forget that where it came from. But when I heard that yesterday, again, when I came back to it, I went, oh, that's where I got that.
Yeah. And it really doesn't make any sense anyway. So
Well, I'll say I was a little young for this one, but this is everything I like about 70s music. I love the mix.
Yeah.
I like the old bass, and I like the way old drums sounded in the
Oh,
70s.
yeah.
They sounded like drums back then.
Yeah.
And I just loved all that. And to me, this music was a lot, even though it's not freeform, to me it felt way more freeform than Steely Dan and not forced like that. To me it felt like they kind of got in a groove and used that and helped that drive their song more than looking for, for like perfection, I guess you would say.
That's
although they would do it the same every time. I mean, they were accomplished enough that they could relax in the music,
Yeah.
and it would keep your attention. If you watched any of their YouTubes where they're playing live, I mean, they captivate the listener
Yep.
and the person watching the show, and they
Were they on Midnight Special? Isn't that what that show
yeah,
was
it was
called?
called the Midnight Special.
I don't know if they were or not.
It
You'd
sounds
be
like- it
surprised
sounds
at how
like they
many
would be
people were
on
on there.
It
Yeah.
sounds like they would.
They
be
were
on
busy
there.
playing at that little bar where they met the Hells Angels. They actually were personally heavily involved with Hells Angels. Hells Angels would come hear them record.
Really?
Wow.
They would come.
They're the Hells Angels house band.
Yes, they were.
Surprisingly relaxed for the Hells Angels.
The Hells Angels would ride their bikes up the stairs through the front
Nice.
door and park their bikes in their living room.
That is cool as heck, dude.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't know that
Yes.
story.
And they would go in when they were recording an album. Some of the Hells Angels would come in and sit there and drink Jack Daniels in the control room
Wow.
with the engineers.
So
Yeah.
I guess you had to
Engineers
be.
love when you have drinks around the
Yes.
control board.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it one of you guys that sent me the picture on Instagram? It was somebody had taken a picture like back in the 70s or 80s, and literally on the mixing board there was a sign that said, "Don't do coke off."
Oh
the
yeah, I
mixing
remember
board."
seeing that. Yep.
Sign.
Yeah, it was a little handwritten sign. Don't
Yep.
do coke on the mixing board.
Well, at that point in time,
Well,
they
gets in all the
meant
cracks and
Coca-Cola.
crevices.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
they did. Yes, I'm sure they did.
This is iced tea, by the way. Decaf.
You said something though that I kind of agree with. Back then,
Say it ain't so.
no, it's so, Joe. So it's, and we brought this up when we were listening to Bob Seger. The mixes back then were perfect. You could hear everybody had. It's like they understood sonic space,
Yeah.
and everybody played within that sonic space.
And there wasn't a lot of technical mumbo jumbo going on in this. They were playing what they were playing,
Yep.
Yeah,
and it sounded like the actual instrument. They didn't do a lot of extra.
right.
Now they did have synthesizers and Hammond B3.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
night. They had they worked it for what it was worth.
No auto tune back then either.
Oh
No,
no,
No auto-tune.
those guys could sing, man.
they could. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, let me ask y'all's opinion on taking it to the streets.
Okay, go ahead.
What's your opinion on taking it to the streets?
I knew you were going to ask that because you said you were going to.
That was a very direct question right there.
Thank you.
Don't beat around the bush. Tell me what you.
No, I don't beat around the bush.
Okay, I think and that was Michael McDonald's song. He wrote
Yeah.
that song, and
Here's
his
just I gotta cut in
Go
quick.
ahead.
Last night we're hanging out on the porch and we're listening to this, and I go, Andy, one of those songs sounds just like McDonald, and she goes, "Oh yeah, he's in the band." I go, "What? I didn't know he was even in the band."
yeah, he was, and prior to that, he had been in Steely Dan.
Oh, okay.
That's why I hate him.
Hey, don't hate him. And he was trying to make a name for himself as a singer and a keyboard player.
Yeah.
I guess it was Donald Fagen and Steely Dan said he had a ways to go on the keyboard.
Oh, of course he
He
did.
sure could use that voice. But anyway, after he became involved with Doobie Brothers, and that was because of Skunk Baxter, who had played lead guitar for Steely Dan,
Which that shocked me when you told
Yeah, I
me.
was
and then
surprised
he
by that,
moved
too.
over to the Doobie Brothers.
Yes.
And when
Where he became a real musician.
Tom Johnston, the lead,
They let him play. That's why.
well, the lead vocalist got sick
Yeah.
and actually almost died, and he was out of commission for a while, and they had a tour that they needed to finish. So Baxter called Michael McDonald and said, "Hey, you want to come over?" Within a matter of a couple days, he was part of the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
And but it changed their sound pretty drastically, and he was always worried that he was not going to be good enough to hang with those guys.
Yeah.
And they reassured him that it would work.
Mm-hmm.
And he went with it, and but taking it to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
My take on that is take your calls and stand up for it.
Okay. That's what, I remember listening. This was never one of my favorites of theirs.
I thought it was a little poppy sounding.
Yeah,
Compared to
it
their
was
other stuff,
different.
I
You're
think.
right. So when I was listening to this yesterday, and I pulled up the lyrics, right now his singing
Did you
is
take him to the street?
well, he's very I was literally close to the street. Like I say, I was sitting outside in the driveway. So I mean, the way he's singing it, I never would have thought that it was a protest song until I read the. Even though he's saying taking it to the streets, I
Yeah.
thought, man, I don't know, maybe taking love to the streets. It's the 70s. We're
Yeah.
taking, all right, it's a protest song because you don't know me, but I'm your brother. I was raised here in a living hell. You don't know my kind in your world. Fairly soon, time will hail. And then so I get the sense. Wait, there he's talking. As you read the whole lyrics, he seems to be talking about political cause, maybe or whatever. But here's the thing: the lyrics are dark and angry, but the song, the way he sings it, isn't. It's like he's just, dude, I'm just chill about this.
Yep.
You can't be chill and sing a protest song.
It's like a happy protest song.
That's it. I was confused. I was like, wait a minute, what are we taking to the streets? Right? And then I was like, is it a protest song? I'm not really murdered. At this point, this song does not motivate me to burn and loot. Okay? It really doesn't. And then I'm like, I'll just stay home, drop a gummy, and watch cartoons. Really. But it almost seems like an anti-political song to me because that saxophone break, as well played as it is,
I'm not a big sax guy. I don't.
it's got to be right.
man.
But have you ever heard of people starting a new regime or a banana republic with the background music being a saxophone?
Yeah, but that doesn't always have to be the whole enchilada.
Okay.
Meaning
Meaning?
the protest doesn't always have to be a
Angry and
angry and looting and that kind of stuff. Just stand up and kick somebody's chihuahua.
Well,
see, if I heard the saxophone, I'd go the other way though.
yeah. I think even the chihuahua would go, no.
I'm gonna go find Alan.
No. Yeah. He's more fun.
What I thought about that was it was a little, and I like Michael McDonald's voice. When I went to see the Doobie Brothers way back in the 70s, he had come on with them, and everybody was just kind of feeling it out to see what was going to happen. But I liked his voice. I thought he had such a distinctive voice that he could make anything work. And I probably didn't know the meaning of that song. I mean, it wasn't a real pointed subject. I mean, there had been protests and stuff leading up to the end of Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all the way through. Mm-hmm. But I think he was just trying to show his voice and trying to do a song that somebody would like. He may not have been in tune with the real movement that much.
He was awfully chill to be calling for any kind of protest, is what I'm getting at. But
but his chill songs, I can tell you this, they'll move you.
Yeah, I can remember
ones that where after he's gotten accomplished at doing it, he can take a song with a certain mood and move you with it.
Well, I knew that he had some success after, but I never was a big fan of his. I just never resonated with that music, though I could appreciate his voice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was another one, Minute by Minute. Not in this album, but in another album.
Oh, yeah.
And who knows what that means? I don't know. Life, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you your opinion. What's your opinion on Jesus is just all right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to tell you that. Or do you want? Well, he asked me, so I'll.
No, I asked both of you, but
don't ask me.
I just used his question, so I thought I'd hit him first.
So
yeah, no, that's good.
This has never been one of my favorite songs, even when I was a young kid, even when I was an atheist, even as a Christian. But you know what? Yeah, I like the message. Jesus is all right with me, man.
I think in this time frame, I think that took balls to write that song.
It did,
to be honest with you,
yeah,
I think that took a lot of cojones to.
Because
kind of not preach, but say
this
what they said, the
in.
message.
Yeah, and it's very positive. It's because there's other songs out there about that time, like Jesus in the Sky, Spirit in the Sky. I got a friend in Jesus. That's really not a good song. This is taking the concept.
My mother had that played at her funeral.
Really,
the song you just mentioned.
Oh, great, good job, Alan.
Well, I guess it's the two uncool cats again.
Everybody got up and was ready to leave, and what she wanted was for that song to play when everybody got up.
I love it.
She had that planned out, and everybody turned around and smiled, and
right.
It was like a happy time.
And that's awesome. I'm sorry that I made that memory.
But no,
I didn't know.
It didn't hurt my memory at all.
Okay, because I love you, man. You know that.
I understand.
All right. And I've never met your mother, but you've always spoken very highly of her.
She was a pretty good lady.
Yeah. So, but you're right, especially, because that's kind of when the tide was turning on if it was an Eastern religion, let's embrace it because the
Yeah.
Beatles were,
Oh, yeah.
anything other than that is, it's hate speech or whatever, and especially now. But if you look at that, I feel that those lyrics captured the message
Yeah.
of what Christianity is.
Yeah.
Man, it's just peace and love.
Yep.
So yeah, I liked it. You?
I liked it.
Would you care to elaborate on that?
At first, I thought, are they saying Jesus is just all right,
Yeah.
or Jesus is just all right?
Yeah, I think that's what they mean.
And I think so too, because
Yeah.
when you hear he took him by the hand, and
Yeah.
and I had that was before my Christian experience,
Yeah.
which was in '76, and I think this song was just before that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, and again, even though it wasn't one of my favorite songs, lyrically it resonated with me now more than it did in the past.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think of South City Midnight Lady?
That's one I didn't
Is that the
remember.
slow one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not a big fan of that one.
Yeah.
You know what?
Kind of brought me down a little bit.
I think of my wife when I hear that song.
Man, we are batting 1,000, aren't they?
It's the one uncool cat right now. Well, HR's going to have a field day with me and you, Andrew.
I just do, and it may have been written to a one night stander, but he actually in the song is talking about when he's walking along and thinking later, his thoughts go back to her,
Yeah.
and the smile that he sent out returned in her.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool lyrics, and
Well, what hit me is I thought I love this intro. I absolutely love it. And then for whatever reason, the beer and the steak, baby. He's talking about beer and steak. I'm like, yes. But when he started singing and getting into it, it ruined it for me. I just don't like. For whatever reason, the singing took away from this song. Had it just been an instrumental or somebody else singing, I think I would have liked it.
interesting.
I guess.
Man.
When are you going to start auditioning for two
I
new
know it.
co-hosts? You know who HR is, right? It's Marilyn. It's his wife.
That's right. How about Rocking Down the Highway?
All right, Andrew.
That's a great song. I mean, that
think
just
so, too.
that puts you right in the car, kind of like
Yes.
Blackwater does. It puts you on the river.
Yeah.
It's like top down blasting music and rocking down the highway.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got to thinking,
I agree.
hell yeah, man, this is
Yep.
Smokey and Bandit
Yeah,
stuff,
no
man.
shit.
We got a long way to go in a short time to
Yep.
get there, babe. Where's Jerry Reed? Let's get on
He's
this.
going so
We're
fast the
eastbound
cops
and
could
down.
hardly
That's
see him.
right. That's what I'm saying. He probably flipped him a bird on the way
Yep.
by. But I'm going to throw something. You won't know this, but I'm telling you, when the intro started,
How do you know I won't know it?
I'll bet you $5. I tell you
$5?
what, I'm already buying supper tonight if we go eat.
He'll give you his royalty check.
That's right, and I got a big one coming. It might buy you another glass of tea.
Okay.
All right,
Just a tea
Try me.
bag, though.
All
That's it.
all right. I hate to do this, okay, but we need to play just the intro to
Uh-oh.
"Rocking Down the Highway," and then I'm going to play another intro here in a second.
Are you connected?
Yes. All right. So yes. No, I am not. Okay, but they don't have to hear it. I just want to do this. Okay. So here we go. Bear with me. Rocking Down the Highway. We're just going to play a minute of the intro. Okay. Okay. Now, listen to this. You're not going to know this, and if you know this, I'm going to buy you steak tonight.
Yeah,
Okay.
steak.
Okay. So bear with me.
Well, while we're waiting, what's your favorite? What's your favorite color? Do you like chocolate?
I love chocolate.
Oh, I do too.
Dark chocolate too.
Oh.
Sorry,
I like
I
milk
don't have my
chocolate.
glasses on. I'm struggling here. Okay. All right. So we just heard that,
He's
right?
back.
We just heard that.
We need that little standby thing. Night train.
It's the same riff.
Yep.
Oh, that's
It's the same
cool
riff.
that you picked up on that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, do you know that song Arrows? This is kind of along those lines. Do you know the Aerosmith song Uncle Salty?
Yes.
Does that not sound like "Man, I Feel Like a Woman Tonight"?
Yes, I agree. Yes,
That's the same riff kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yep. And I think Mutt probably stole it. Too.
probably. Yeah, I was sitting there and I had my eyes closed listening to all this yesterday. Get to what he's getting at, and I went, "That's Guns N' Roses Night Train." Two totally different songs, man. One is, yeah, man. I mean, still aggressive.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm doing something. But the other one's like, I'm doing something dark.
They were doing some Night Train.
Yeah, Night Train, man. So anyway, but that's Guns N' Roses. It's not their version of the song, but it's their riff of I guess they stole.
I didn't know
It's
it's
their stolen riff of the
Pizza will
Doobies.
be fine.
No steak for you.
Yeah.
No steak for me.
So, listen to the music. That was a time machine moment for me. That's literally the kind of stuff that would be in the background sometimes on the radio. When I on those moments I was riding around with my dad in the Chevy, you know, and you know. That's the way where we driving by the Zesto, couldn't afford anything, dude. I'm telling you, but we were happy other people could. You know? So they look like they're having a good
you
time.
had your Doobie Brothers song on.
That's
all you
right.
had.
Doobie Brothers are playing and they're riding back and forth in front of
Because that was
Zesto
that's right.
just to get the smell of the burgers.
That's right. Because that was the first. Because that was first. You know, in this that was the first song that made me think of Zesto. And but you know that was
You've mentioned Zesto before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't you meet some chick there or wanted to or something?
yeah. Well, you know.
Oh, you got had
Were
a
you-
corn dog?
Yeah,
yeah.
Nobody talked to the chick
That's
when
right.
she was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
And
was
we
her
could
name?
literally
What kind-
Ellen.
Ellen, I thought it was
And then
Ellen.
Melody.
Miss Zesto.
There was Melody.
And Melody. That was
Oh
the
my gosh.
She was Miss Zesto 1980.
right. She was. Yes. So I can remember. So imagine.
But she
this.
didn't want anything to do with him because his sister stuck beans up her nose.
Right. So imagine. So you got this little thing called Zesto. At the time, it was Bill's Zesto, right?
Bill's.
So it's this little tiny, side of the road ice cream shop like you'd see like in the 50s, whatever, with the weird shapes, and it had a ice cream cone shaped light on the top, right?
With Richie and Potsy hanging out.
Seriously. Right behind it was Ingleside School. That was the grammar school I went to. So we would all go, literally, we would go and we'd play on the playground, and if you had money, you'd go over there and get you something from the Zesto. Well, hell, we never had money.
So you just stayed on the monkey bars watching
seriously,
everybody.
yeah, right. So, but the Zesto also was maybe 3 or 4 miles from my house. So we would, this is the 70s. You get up in the morning, you're gone.
Yep.
You come back, sometime.
Dinner time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Well,
so
he wasn't. He was in a crib.
right. So I found out how to get stuff from the Zesto, right?
Oh.
Started a paper route.
Oh.
Yeah, when I got a little bit older, got on my bicycle and I'd go down there, and Mr. Bill, when he was there, I'd drop off his paper and he'd give me an ice cream.
Oh.
There you go.
He was a nice guy.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah. So there was something else here. One of these other songs got me to thinking about Ellen. Oh, Take Me in Your Arms. Okay. So again, Ellen, right? So where I lived, right? 2 streets over on the corner was where Ellen lived, right? So I'd always got delivered their paper. So you're in your bicycle, you throw the paper, right? Well, one day Ellen's outside. She's walking her puppy, right?
She hit her with the paper.
Oh my gosh! No, I threw it and it hit the puppy. I'm just I just take off. The next day at school, she's like, "Why'd you hit my puppy with the paper?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, Ellen. I'm just so." There's no wonder I didn't date in high school.
You should have said your beauty blinded me and I hit your dog with the paper.
Oh, boy, smooth.
That. I wish we'd have been friends back then.
hindsight,
I might have had a girlfriend.
I never did either, so I don't know what I'm talking about.
So you would have been just me and one of my other buddies.
Yeah, I would have been riding behind you laughing about the fact you
72
hit the
Nova.
Yeah, we're gonna go talk to Ellen. We're gonna go talk to Ellen. Yes, we are.
Oh shit, there she is. I'm not talking to her.
Has she got a puppy with her?
So yeah. So anyway, all right.
Wow, it's gonna be hard to follow that.
Yeah.
Well,
So, all right, go ahead.
I was going to say, I can wrap it up by saying that this was one of my favorite eras in my life.
Yeah.
And when this music came out and was playing, it was happy stuff for me.
Nice. That's not how you wrap it up, Bob. We need points, Bob.
Okay,
Yes.
point. Oh, I forgot my points. Okay. Let me look up where
I was telling my wife about your point system.
I was telling Andy too. She was cracking up.
Yes.
I said it's we
Oh, it
like
looks
to,
like they got 100 points out of 100.
I said we like to say it's fluid.
When you said that last time, that's a shirt. 3 Uncool Cats. It's fluid.
Need a litter box, I guess.
And we can even have a little. I could have Chris draw us something about Bob's scoring system.
We can put a little abacus on.
Yes. Oh, I love the abacus, dude.
I purposely did not score this one. Now I'll score from later episodes. I didn't score this one because I felt like I couldn't be totally,
Removed.
yeah, I couldn't.
Objective.
He's
Yeah.
not been objective on it.
I know
He
it.
says he's got this intricate scoring system, but
Yeah.
like you say, the
Yeah.
fluidity of it makes me think he's not objective.
Well, I just think I probably wouldn't have been fair, because there are some things I know that you guys don't like that I like, and there are some things that you like that I don't,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. So I thought I'd give it a rest, but let's say they get 100 points out of 100
We'll
for
take
me.
it.
Okay.
So we're getting into our questions
Well,
now?
first, I want to know something.
Well, uh-oh.
How many points would you give it, Brother Andrew?
Out of 100.
Out of 100,
Yeah.
I'd give it a solid 85.
85. That's good.
I'm going to have to go with 95 because there was only 2 songs on there that I don't quite remember, and those were the two that we were
Man,
talking
I
about.
consider this a huge success.
I would too because there were memory. I'm being silly. All these stories are true, by the way, but I'm being silly. But there was good moments. It
Yeah.
took me back to,
Mhm. Yeah, it was good. It was a good time.
and it's good music, good musicians.
Yes.
And what I'm realizing more all the time is that the music is just it's a part of your life. Your life is like this. Music is like this. But that triggers what was going on at different points in your life. So, there's a lot of importance to having the music for me.
The soundtrack of your life.
That's right.
Really? Really?
There's a reason that's a quote.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't know it. I thought he made it up, and I
wanted to take credit. I don't know who
loved
made
it.
it up.
Yeah, that's a great quote. I've heard it.
Man.
But I just gotta say, Bob went all deep on us
I
just
know
now.
it, man.
Babuda. He's Babuda.
Yeah, I just feel like there's more to music than we give it credit
Oh,
for.
yeah, absolutely.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. No, that was good. I liked what you said.
Let me just share one thing with you that is totally
Nope, sorry, we're out of
unrelated.
tape.
Yeah. Tape's expensive, Bob.
This old reel to reel. No, what I was going to say is when I was in high school, there was a song that we did in my junior year in the high school concert band. I played French horn in the concert season. And it was called Minstrel Boy.
Yeah.
And it was written back in the late 1700s, early 1800s. And I'm telling you, we learned that song as a full concert band. That song would bring tears to my eyes. And still, I mean, and what can explain that when there were no lyrics?
You're right. Power of music.
Yeah,
No, I
the
love it.
Power of music.
There are a couple of instrumental pieces I've listened to over the years, and there's one where you asked us that question in the text. There's a song that there's an instrumental part in one of those songs that even to this day I get misty about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what can explain that?
Yep.
Other than it's a language all its own,
Yeah.
and it speaks different ways to different people.
Yeah. It resonates. It's the resonance, and when
Yep.
there's something to be said about like it. We never get deep on this show, but we're getting deep now because you started it. Let's think about it.
You started
You
it, Bob.
started it. You're going to make us look smart. We're going to lose all kinds of people. They don't want to hear smart Bob, Alan, and Andrew. They want to hear stupid stuff. So,
Okay, well, let's go back to Ellen at the Zesto.
so anyway, let's think about it. The analogy of life and music, right? You got a bunch of people from different backgrounds and whatever. You pull them together and you put them in a band, and they have to listen to each other. They have to resonate with each other, and they have to work together to make this piece work. If we could just all do that, even beyond music, if we could just learn to do that in life, man, we wouldn't be in the situation.
And
we're
even
in.
not even being in a band, but when you're at a concert,
Yes.
there's all people from, you don't know where
Yes.
they're from, but you're all there for the same reason,
Yes.
to experience whatever that band's going to do that night. And for whatever reason, you all like that band. And
That's
who
right.
knows where the hell anybody came
and
from.
it doesn't
But
matter.
in that moment in time, you're all there together and just enjoying everything.
Beautiful.
And see, that's biblical.
It is. You're right.
We're all members of the same body.
Right.
You know?
So somebody asked me once, I got into this discussion. I was like, my neighborhood, my little short neighborhood, there's maybe 40 families in that neighborhood, if there's that, right? There's all races, no lie. It's literally like a little snapshot of the world.
And a Chihuahua. Well, you
And
said
the Chihuahua. Yeah, the Chihuahua's the only one. But
moved out.
everybody gets along. Nobody sees skin color. Nobody sees political background. Nobody sees any of that stuff. We're all talking to each other. We're all having fun. We're all just standing around the kids are all playing together.
The kids are all right.
The kids are all right. Yes. So that's why I stopped listening to the news. The news wants us divided.
Yep.
Yeah.
The news wants us,
I agree.
but to get back to riff off of what you said, back when I was doing stand-up comedy, In Living Color was big.
Oh, yes.
Tommy Davidson was a black comedian on there, a little small guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I used to do that skit where he'd go, order up!
Yes. So I had
That was hilarious.
Right. I had the opportunity to watch him. I didn't get to share the stage with him, but I got to be at the club when he was there. And it was a packed club. Now he's a black guy. Black, white, Hispanic. We were packed in there together. And for over an hour, there were times I was laughing so hard I was struggling to breathe. And the last thing he said before he left the stage, he says, I want you to look to your left and look to your right. He goes, nobody came in here thinking about color. Nobody came in here thinking about politics. Y'all sat here and we all laughed together. He goes, take that out to the street.
Yep.
Taking
Take
it
it
to the street.
Yes. All right, we got to finish
Wow.
that.
All
Wow.
right. We're not even going to do the questions on this one.
There you go.
We're going to wrap it up with that. That was
Let's do
great.
it.
That was a great way to end it.
Yes.
As always, like, subscribe, check out our podcasts.
5 stars.
If you don't have time to watch YouTube,
We appreciate you.
we appreciate you. Stay uncool. Like what you like. Deuces.